learn about the remaining calculations in Tableau. First, let's get started with the very important question. Why should someone learn Tableau? Tableau is a data visualization tool which is very powerful in creating visualizations as well as performing advanced analytics. Now, talking about data visualization, first let's understand why should someone want a data visualization. It is very simple. Whenever we have huge amount of data, huge amount of information that is there in the form of text or numbers or any other data types, it may not be very easy for the human beings as to consume the information directly. Rather, if it can be visually represented, then it becomes easy for anyone to consume the context that is there in the data. As we know, a picture speaks louder than thousand words. So by seeing, people can easily understand rather than going through each and every data point that is there in the data set. Typically, even in real life, we would all like to see images and understand about a particular location before traveling to that location, with a rather than reading about it or rather than going about multiple data, we would rather see the pictures and decide, okay, this is where we wanted to go for this holiday. Everything is decided via images makes us to take better decisions. So it becomes very important in a business also to convert the raw data into something visually representing, through which we can roll out reports, we can actually convert, create dashboards and then publish it for the end users as well. So it becomes vital irrespective of your IT choices to learn about any data visualization tool. Since Tableau is the market leader for the last 8-9 years, learning Tableau gives you an opportunity, gives you an upper edge in getting placed. With that said, let me quickly introduce about OdinSchool as well as about me. OdinSchool is a technology upskilling platform. They help us continuously acquire new skills. Their motto is to stay skilled and stay ahead. About me, I am Gautam Kumar Jayachandran. I have 6+ years of experience working as a senior data scientist. I work in several technologies: Excel, SQL, Python, Tableau, machine learning, Alteryx, and other technologies as well. I currently work in financial domain. With that said, let's see what is the agenda for the day. Date calculations, conditionals, and arithmetic calculations. Date calculations. Date calculations in Tableau is one of the most widely used calculation, if you ask me, because a report is something which is very closely related to time dimension. So whichever data set that we take, whatever reporting that we are going to roll out using Tableau or any other data visualization tool, the primary idea behind a report is time, because a report will say during this time this is what happened, within this time interval this is what happened. So everything is about time. So when the reporting is completely made up of time and time dimension, it becomes essential for us to know how to play with the different types of date functions, how to extract a particular set of output given a use case. We will extensively see all the types of date calculations. We will see conditionals and we will also see arithmetic calculations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and all the other relevant arithmetic operations. There are multiple functions that are there. I think apart from the list that is there displayed here, we have more functions also in Tableau. Then we will see conditionals, then we will see arithmetic calculations. Okay, perfect. So let's get started with practice rather than theory. Let me open Tableau. I will connect to a data source, which is Superstore. I'm seeing all the dimensions and measures that are there. Looks good to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a calculated field which will create date calculations. There are several calculations that can be done. Let's start with one by one. Let me drag the date dimension into the view first. I'm dragging order date. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this at a granular level to as soon as you drag and drop the time dimension, it is now pivoted, grouped as at a higher year level. Now what if I wanted to unpivot this? I would like to use exact date option, which will give me the unpivoted values of each and every line item. But since this is continuous, Tableau always creates a chart on the continuous data. I'll convert this into discrete, where it creates a table by default. So starting from the 3rd of January 2016 till what date do we have information? Will till 30th of December 2019. 3 years information we have in this data set. Now let's take this and then play with this data set. Let me remove this. First, let me create a calculated field for date calculations. Adjust the size, we don't want so big. Okay, perfect. The first one is, let me pick date. The first one is date add function. A date add function simply adds value to a particular date on a particular dimension. So first let me create a date add function. I would like to see what will be the date after 4 months from this order data that we have. So what I'll do is I'll choose the date add function. See here, the first argument that it asks is what is the date part that you wanted to add, whether you wanted to add year dimension, whether you wanted to add month dimension or day dimension. I wanted to add month, so all small letter, I'll give month. Then it is asking me how many intervals do you want me to add. I would say add 4 months to the existing date. It is asking me what is the existing date. The existing date is order date. So if I simply supply this, it says the calculation is valid. I'll apply this, drag and wrap it into the rows. Now again I'll do the same operation, show the exact value, but I will show it in discrete. Yes, let me change this into discrete. You will see 4 months added to the data. See here, we have 1st of January, sorry, 3rd of January. Here we have 3rd of May, 4 months from January. Then we have added 4 months to each and every date that we are seeing here. What if I would like to just keep it as date? So I'll click the data type and then keep it as date. I have not specified any time. Since the data type is date and time, it creates a timestamp for me with all zeros in it. Then what if I wanted to see what is the in a month, like what is the what I would say, what was 4 months from today, I would say past information. If I wanted to see what was the current, what was the date, or what was the month, or whatever time dimension that we have, what was this particular time period 4 months ago. So what I can do is I can choose -4. So what happens is from this date it gives me 4 months below. So 4 months below this should be August of 2015, 3rd September, October, November, December, 4 months. And then we have first, fifth, which is January, which is what we have here. So 4 months prior to this. And if I for prior dates, I'll use -4. For upcoming dates, we can use +4 or something. The same thing can be added. The same date can be manipulated at a year level also. What will be 4 years from today? It would have been the 3rd of January 2020. This is year dimension. What if I wanted to add a day dimension? I wanted to add 90 days to the existing, 95 days. 95 days from 3rd of January, what it will be? If I simply apply, it will tell me it is 7th of April, 95 days from 3rd of January. So from 4th of January it is 8th. From 7th of January it is 11th of April. So basically we can add or work on 3 dimensions. One is year, another one is month, and another one is day. These three arguments basically helps us to understand date parts. So I can choose whatever date parts that I can have in order to understand this. Not understanding, in order to retrieve an output by manipulating the existing date value. The existing date value that we have is for um, day here. So we can change this into year or month or day. All these three arguments can be used, or all these three arguments can be taken help to address this concern. This is what a date add function does. Then let's see the next one. The next one is going to be date diff function. Okay, what if I wanted to know the difference between, as an integer, as an output, what is the difference between two different time periods? I can see the output in terms of days, I can see the output in terms of months, also I can see the output in terms of year as well. So let's see how to calculate the difference between two dates. I'll choose date diff. Here the first thing it is asking me is, how do you wanted to see the output? I wanted to see the output in days. What's the difference between first day and second day? That is what I wanted to see here. I'll say the start date is order date, then the end date have to specify. What I can do is, since I don't have any other time dimension or date dimension, what I can do is I can create one and then ask the machine to show it. So in this case I'll simply close this without saving this. So date add will be second date for me. I'll create another date field where I'll say date diff. Here I'll say date diff. The first thing is month. Maybe I wanted to see the difference in day, and then I would say what is my start date. My start date is order date and my end date is date add that we have just created. That's pretty much what we have to do. And start of week is basically an optional argument where we can specify if Sunday has to be my start of day or Monday has to be my start of day. By default it is Sunday, so I'll leave it as it is. I'll just give apply, drag it into the view. Again, I'll keep it in discrete. See here, the difference between 2 days. 95 days. The difference between these two dates is 285. The difference between these two dates is so and so. So it basically gives you the difference that we have in the difference we have between two different dates. That is exactly what date diff function does. Again, the best thing is we can see this in any date part. Since I have kept date diff in uh, sum, it is giving us multiple outputs. Let me just drag this into dimension. It will give me only 95 because the difference between these two dates is 95. What happens when I keep it in measures is, if this particular date is present two times, 95 will be added twice and the output would have been 170 for us. Sorry, 190 for us. That is why we are seeing huge numbers also, but by keeping it in dimension, it cannot perform this aggregation and shows us only the difference between two particular dates. I am saying the same thing in terms of month. If I supply month, it will tell me what is the difference between the order date and date add in months. 3 months difference. Again, I can do the same thing in year argument as well. The year argument says there is no difference between any of the data points here. Looks like there was only one case. See here, we had 2018 data and here we have 2019. The difference is 1. So that is pretty much we can use. That is how much we can actually use date diff function to achieve certain output. Date name function. Okay. The next thing is, what if the user wants to know the month, name of the month or name of the day? So date name function simply returns us only two things. First thing is, it will return me the name of the month rather than giving or representing it in numbers like 1 to 12. It will rather give us the name of the month. And regarding what is this, regarding days also, it will tell you whether it is Monday, Tuesday or something else. So it can give me day argument. I'll say order date. If I supply this, it gives me the date name function. Here it is giving me the number. What we have to do is, I think I have to supply it as weekday. Exactly. If I supply it as weekday, it gives me the names for each and every date that we have. So the 3rd of January 2016 was a Sunday. 4th of January 2016 was a Monday. It keeps giving you the name of the day. What if I wanted to know the name of the month? I can use month, where it will tell you what month it is. Mostly it is in January, February, March, April. All the months are there here. So basically, date name function returns us only two things. It gives you the name of the day or it gives you the name of the month. Next thing, date parse function. Okay, a date parse function, just like in any other technology, it simply converts a string into a date. That is what it does, but we'll have to give the date in correct order. First, what is the string? String as in the date format. I'll say 2020 dot January dot 27. Assume this is how the date is present in the string. Now what we have to do is we'll have to give the format in which the date is present. It is yyyy dot mmm. I think I can use small y's here. Only for month we will use capital M, and then for date also I can use dd. That's pretty much what I have to do. Just apply and see whether it is giving me 27 January 2020 or not, which is exactly what it is giving me. So whenever you are supplying a string and wanted to convert a string into a date, you'll have to just make sure that you give the right format in the machine, which will be encoded directly into the string that we are trying to convert it into a date format. Again, I can convert this into a only date dimension, not the date time dimension. You can see what is the current date, not the current date, but I've encoded a value, right? That particular value is shown here. Cool. Let's see the next one. Date part function. Okay. A date part function simply returns a particular part of the date, month, year, and day. Here, what did I say? Date part function returns the specified part of a date. As I told you, I can ask the machine to give me the month. Where do I wanted this month to come from? I wanted this to come from the order date column here. I'll simply supply this. So if you see here, the date part function is simply returning us the number integer of the month value. It will not give you the name of the month. So whenever we have name of the month that has to be retrieved, then we'll have to use date name function. Again, date part function can give us three different informations: year, month, and day. Now this is the day that is there in the data that we are looking at. So these are the three different arguments that can be supplied in date part function. Let's see the next one. Day trunc function. Okay. A day trunc function simply truncates the date to the start of a particular time part. Say for an example, I would like to see what is the start of this particular quarter. First thing is date part. I'll say give me the start of each and every quarter in the order date. So what the machine simply does is, since January is part of first quarter, it will give you 1st of January for all the dates till 31st of March. But from 1st of April, what it will give you is, it will give you 2, because the second quarter gets started there, and then for the entire 3 months it will give you only 2. For the third quarter it will show 3, and for the fourth quarter it will show 4. But when I say 4, it will give you the first date of that particular quarter. So for the first quarter, it will give you 1st of January 2016 here. For the second quarter, it will give you 1st of April 2016, and for third quarter, it will give you 1st of April, May, June, July. I think it's August, September, October. I think it is July. So it will give you 1st of July 2016. Then it will give you 1st of October 2016. So it gives you the start date of every quarter. Base is the date part. If I'm asking month, it will give you the start date of the month. If I'm asking quarter, it will give me the last first date in the quarter. If I'm asking about a year, it will again give me the first day in the year. Let me show them in the output. See here, it gives me 1st of January 2016. Let's check it for second quarter. See here, in the second quarter also, it will give you the first day of that particular quarter for all this information. Even until June, it will give you first quarter, second quarter's first day only. So what it simply does is, the role of datrunc function is to retrieve or return only the first value. Excuse me. It simply returns me the first day of a particular quarter. Let me change this into some other dimension. Used date diff. Where is that? Convert this into date. Cool. So here what I'll do is, rather than using quarter, I'll use year. So it will give me the first date of that particular year in which this date is belonging to. For 7 1 2016 also, it will give you 1 1 2016 only. For 31 12 2016 also, 17 also, 2016 also, it will give you only 1st of January 2016. So basically what it does is, see here, even for the ninth month, it is giving me first day or first month of January. The idea behind date trunc is to simply subset the data and produce a user to connect with all this basic stereotyping connections. This is date trunc with year. What if I would like to see it at a month level? Again, it gives me the start date of that particular month. It gives you that as well. These are the different functions, different operations that can be done in date trunc. Let's go to the next one. The next one is a day function. Okay, day, days, day, minimum, month, year, quarter, today, now. Okay, these are the important functions. Okay, let me finish them. Today function simply retrieves us the value of the current date, whereas a now function returns us the value with timestamp in it, with the current timestamp. So here it gives me the current timestamp as well. So the difference between today and now function is that today function simply executes this particular statement. Whereas in the case of Kiran, she doesn't understand the date function, or it gives us with the timestamp to it. In this case, if I say now, it gives me the date with timestamp, and then I can give OK, and looks like it has given the exact date with timestamp. Then the next date function that we saw is, Day function, day, month, year. Okay, let's see day, month, year. Okay. Talking about day function, what a day function can do is a day function can simply extract the day part of a particular date column that we have. So in the order date we have, let me remove date add as well. In the order date we have 3rd of January being the date, 4th of January, 5th of January, 6th of January, and so on. So in this case, if I use a day function simply returns me the day part, which is 3rd, 03, 04, 05 in this case. Let me apply this. See here, it gives me 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, all those things only. It gives me as a output here. The same thing, same like month day function. We can use a month function which will return the month from the date part. So it will give me this is first month, second month, third month, fourth month, and so on. So knowing all these functions helps us a lot in creating calculations that will be periodically viewed. So if the user wants to control the data at a particular period, if there are several ways in which the data can be seen using a time dimension like YTD, YOY, QTD, CTD, all those things. So if the user wants to see them, you need to use these functions, date functions, to calculate them. The same happens with the year function also. A year function also returns the year part of the date. It gives me what year that is belonging to. So year, month, day also we can use. Apart from that, other functions are not very quite often used. So ISO date, all those things we have. His date is something we have already seen. The only thing that I did not explain is week function. A week function simply gives you the number of that particular week. Week of order date. It gives me what week it is. It is the second week of the year, and we have till 50, believe, till the last week. From the very first week we have information, so it gives you the week number. These are the different date calculations that can be performed using Tableau. So using date function, one of the most uh, you know what I would say, the one of the most used KPI is what is the YOY, year on year growth. Last year current date what was the sales, and current year current date what is the sales. What is the difference between them, whether my sales have improved compared to my last year or not. Let's take this as a use case and write a formula to achieve that operation. I'll take category, I'll take sales, and then I'll show you order date in the column shelf. Sorry, let's keep it this way only. So we have 4 different years. So what I can do is I can consider 2019 as the current year. So let us tweak this formula, tweak the date formula to calculate what was the sales in what was the sales until 8th of October last year, and we will also calculate what is the sales until 8th of October in current year and calculate the difference between them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to first create the 8th of October for current year, current date. So today function will give me the date completely, but what I'm going to use is I'm going to take today. I'll use date add function here. Here interval is -1, and then the date should be order date. So what happens is this will give me, sorry, okay, this will not, this will actually give me 2019's um, 8th October. Let's see this. Since we have all the dates, this doesn't seem to work. Let me just tweak this. So what I wanted in the first place is I would like to keep compare the current month with okay, current month and day with last year. Okay, perfect. Let's give the user the ability to choose or play with whatever data that he wants. First, let me create a parameter. Let me create month from order date. So it will give me 12 months. I'll use this to be populated in the parameter. So here all these months are populated from January till December. The months are populated. And again we can give the date values to the users. So I'll create another calculation, the day calculation. So it will be again date name, day part from order date. Okay, and then we will see year also. I'll use date part, year from order date. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow the user to choose a particular date and see what is the growth, if there is any growth to the last year or not. -1 year on year. So for what I'll do now is I'll create a year parameter where it will be an integer. It will be taken from year. Then I'll create another parameter for date. Again, it will be an integer. Um, Let me see what is the field that I've created. Excuse me. These two should be dimension only. Let me use this for date field. Perfect. We have only 31 days. Perfect. Let's do this. Let me format this a little. Perfect. So we have created date, year, and month format parameter. Now let me show them, display them. Now let me pick 2017 and then let me pick 15th. So if the user is picking a date, month and year, what has to happen is the machine will have to identify what is the value that was there in terms of sales in that particular selection. Also, it should calculate the sum of sales for last year, which is 15 January 2017, and calculate the difference and see whether the sales have increased or decreased, or is there a change to it. Let me create a calculation first. Current selection. I'll say sum if order date is equal to make date, year will be coming from year parameter, month will be coming from month will be coming from month parameter, then day will be coming from date parameter. Then what we can do is we can add sales end. Mm, so this month is not getting converted into this is, since this is a string, I wanted to convert this into a number, or else I wanted to convert this into a date month. So this will give me date part, which will give us the month. Then we have date. Month of or date. Let's keep that. That way it doesn't make any. This is day and this is sales. Then this will be sales. Perfect. So this is current selection sales. So what I'm going to do is I'll drag order date into filter shelf. Um, just a second, let me customize this. Perfect. So the user can choose what month they wanted to see, what date, what year, and it will give the value, this particular calculation that we have written. All I have to do is now duplicate this and create another one which will have last year sales. Last year sales. So here what I'm going to do is I will use a date add function, not the one that we created. This is my date part, and then interval is minus. Oh, sorry. My I would like to have 1 year minus the existing. Okay. What happens is this will give us the last year's sales. Once we have last year's sales and current year's sales, what happened to the current last year's sales? Okay. Then we have to substitute the difference between current year sales and last year's sales. I'll say current selection sales minus last year's sales. And that's it. So let me drag and drop everything. I'll drag and drop this. It says nothing. Okay. If null, there might be null. So what happens is if there are nulls in either one of the case, while substituting, it doesn't retrieve us any value. So if you see here, the difference is there is minus 150. Last year we had sales, but in the current year we did not have sales. Let's validate this in the data set. January 15, 2017. Order date. See here, 15 January 2016 has values. There is no 2017. So this 150 is not generated. Whatever value that we have in 15 January 2016 is not generated in 2017. So this will be the difference. It says minus 150, which means that there is a loss of 150 rupees compared to the previous year. The user can choose any date and then we can play with it. So that validates our logic. Let's see what is the next one. That brings us to the end of date calculations. Conditionals, we have seen this yesterday. In the interest of time, let me see if there are anything else that I'm missing. Arithmetic, it's very simple, addition subtraction only, usual ones. Let us see that as well. Basically aggregation only. We have already seen logical, which is basically our conditionals. So let's use aggregate functions. Let's use different aggregation functions. There are several aggregations that we can actually do inside Tableau. All the 11 default aggregation functions can be used or taken help in Tableau to create a particular view. Let me create some view first. Okay, we have quantity and sales. By default, it comes up with values. Now, what if I wanted to know several things? What is the average sales? So I'll say, since I have already fixed the subcategory in the view, I'll have to do this at a subcategory level. That's why I'm doing this. Other which ways we can directly write average of sales. I can apply this and then drag and drop it here. It tells me what is the average sales. The average sales in accessories is 216. In appliances it is 231. In art it is 34. If I wanted to know what is the overall average, I'll do it at a entire dimension level where it will tell me the overall average is 230. Or at a subcategory level also we can see this. But what happens when I don't fix this is it becomes the same value as my sales. The problem is Tableau tries to take this at a particular level and then show you the output. But by fixing it, we will be able to control the way it is actually distributed. Let me show. Let's keep average of sales at a subcategory level. We can see this maximum sales I wanted to see. I'll use max sales. Drag and drop it here. Then I'll choose calculated field where I'll say minimum sales. So this is the minimum sales. Correlation between quantity and the sales. Quantity and sales. So it will tell me what is the relationship between quantity and sales. I'll drag and drop that as well. The correlation is poor across multiple subcategories, but in charts there's a good correlation, but in fasteners as well as in tables there is a good correlation. Now what I can do is I can show correlation in percentages because correlation is always between 0 to 1. So I'm going to show this in percentage. Now we have really good correlation in fasteners. In here we have 70% correlation and all the other subcategories. Minimum and maximum. Okay, standard deviation sales. I can put it on population sample or population. I'll choose population and then I'll say sales. I can drag and drop it here. That is also a part of aggregation only. Looks like the standard deviation is not far away from the mean value. So it seems like a normally distributed data set. Then I can calculate variance of sales, which is the squared standard deviation. I'll say variance of sales. I'm talking about price per product. Sum of quantity divided by sum of sales. We can show the price per product also here. Okay, I think I made quantity by sales. It should be sales by quantity. Yes. Now it'll tell me what is the price for each and every product that is present in the subcategory. So we can write as many calculations as we want in terms of both aggregations as well as arithmetic operations. Also with logical and date operations to understand how whatever requirement that is given to you, how easily it can be done. That is why we need to know calculated fields in Tableau. I'm just thinking if I'm missing something. Looks like I've covered everything. So let me take a use case and then try to give you an information. The user wants to see what is the different aggregation output at a ship mode level and how the data is transferred in time period. So I'll keep order date in columns, sales in rows. I would like to break this into ship mode. By 4 different ship modes, the data will be split now. I will just remove this header. Let us create a simple chart. Let's not show the header. Um, then we can format this. I'll remove the borders. This is fine. Put this in the entire view. Looks too big, so I'll change the color and reduce the size. Yeah. Now let me add sales information into the label. Let's format this since the numbers are so big. Format the labels. Sum of sales. 8 in bold or 7 in bold also should be fine. Okay, so the chart is ready now. Now, if I want to see this information at a granular level, at several granular levels, by default, the date parameter comes with the date dimension comes with the dimension hierarchy, given that the data is present at a granular level. In those cases, what we can do is we can see this data at till the granular level. What happened inside each and every year? I can see this with the help of the plus symbol, where the chart gets automatically split into 4 different quarters for each and every year. Under each and every year, if you wanted to see what is the business, um, what is the business in each and every month, that is also something we can achieve by pressing on the Q1. It will enable us the different not different, it will give us the month wise information. If you have day wise information can also be seen using Tableau, but however the best thing to do is to see it at as high level as possible. Minimize this seems good to me. So in the fourth quarter of 2016, first class has performed well. In 2016's quarter 2 and quarter 3, second class performed well. Standard class seemed to perform well in almost all the quarters across the years. With various same day delivery doesn't seem to perform very well compared to the other type of shipping modes that we have in the data set. If I wanted to see the average sales, I can create a calculated field and then replace the sum of sales with average of sales. Otherwise, by default, Tableau gives you all the aggregation operations in the view can be modified as well. So I can choose average here or median or any other aggregation, and then machine automatically gives us that particular output. What if I choose average? It will tell me what is the average sales happened across years. So this is how we can take the help of both calculations and Tableau's visualization to provide both visually represented data with a lot of analytics in it. That's pretty much what we can use whenever you are using whatever types of calculations. For adding, for concatenation, we will use plus. For subtracting one number with another number, one date with another date, we will use minus. And for multiplying two numbers, we can use multiplication. And the same thing for division. If I want to divide two numbers, I can use the forward slash in the keyboard. Exponential can also be done with the help of power keyword. All the arithmetic logics work exactly the same way how it's supposed to work. I think that's pretty much is what we have. That brings us to the end of this session, but let me quickly recap what we have learned in this class. we learned about the different date calculations. Date calculations helps us perform our work on several dimensions of date calculations in Tableau. As a reporting environment, it becomes very important for everyone to know about different date calculations. Other which ways there is no point of building a dashboard and allowing the user to set a time frame to see the see the different views. So it becomes very vital than any other calculations for date calculations to be known. The next thing is conditionals, which are basically if and else if, which we have already seen. Talking about arithmetic and aggregation functions, arithmetic function lets you to perform the basic numerical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, exponentiation, power, and all those things. Whereas aggregate functions like sum, average, count, minimum, maximum, standard deviation, variance, all these aggregation functions helps you to perform or see the data at a particular statistical level. That brings us to the end of this class. Thank you so much for joining this session. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to OdinSchool. Thanks everyone.